Welcome back. MTG Joe here with another budget arena deck. So I'm going to be playing a couple just variations, some net decks and some budget decks as we wait for Theros Beyond Death to come out. I've been putting out a couple of deck techs for some decks that I've been brewing. I'll do a couple more of those, but if there is anything you'd like to see, do let me know in the YouTube comments down below in the video. So today we have for you a budget mono black deck. This can be something that can be leveraged once Grey Merchant of Asphodel comes out. So it's another type of kind of devotion style deck. There's a lot of cool cards. I put out that deck tech today. So yesterday, depending when you see this video. So with this deck here, it's 10 rares. So usually this is what I like to cap my budget decks at. So a lot of the decent cards in mono black happen to be uncommon. So it's not too bad. Obviously, if you have more of the cards, you should add them in. But coming in, you have Cat Oven combo, both being uncommon. It is a metagame staple, so might as well use it. Foulmire Knight, it's a 1-drop that can draw us cards late game if we draw it. Otherwise, it's an early 1-drop with Death Touch. Similarly with Vampire the Dire Moon, it's a 1 mana, 1/1 lifelink Death Touch. So this incentivizes opponents to let us get the attacks in. Late game, it can also trade up. In the 2-drop slot, kind of a mix of stuff. Yarok's Reaver, Lazotep Reaver, 2 bodies for 2 mana, works well with Ayara. Order Midnight gets back some creatures after they die. It's also an evasive body. Orzhov Enforcer, similarly, we have Death Touch. It's a way that I can trade up with some of the bigger creatures. And on the backside, it leaves you a 1/1 spirit. Yarok's Fenlurker, necessary evil in a budget deck to get rid of opponent's cards in hand. Not the most, like the biggest fan of this. It's better than Burglar Rat if we're playing one of the two, just because we can pump extra mana into it. Midnight Reaper is one of the rares. It is a very good card. It is needed in this type of strategy. When our creatures die, we get to draw cards off them. We do have indirect life gain, so it's ways to kind of offset with that. You can also get Cat Oven going with Midnight Reaper. You get to draw a card every turn extra. Plaguecrafter is a way we can interact with Planeswalkers in the main board. Also forces the opponent to sack. We got a lot of like minuscule creatures that we can trade off with. 2 Murderous Riders. Obviously, if you have more, play upwards of 4. Premier removal in the format. Ayara. So whenever a black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses a life, you gain a life, and then you can sack other black creatures to draw cards. Legendary creatures, we're playing 3 of them. And then 2 Davriels. It's a way that we can force cards out of our opponent's hand, as well as just a way for us to pressure their life total without creatures. If they run out of cards in hand, it's a way we can get them that way. The last 2 rares are 2 Castle Locthwain. Card draw from a land. Awesome. This should be a 4 of in the deck. If you do have them, put them in. And then a couple Witch's Cottage. Late game is just ways for us to recycle creatures. Some other cards you may want to add if you have them. Any number of Knight of Eben Legion, Rankles, Murder. What's its name? The dude, the 4-drop with Spectacle. Oh, it's gonna bother me now. Spawn of Mayhem. Spawn of Mayhems are also good in this type of build. Also, if you're doing more aristocrats, like so self-sacrifice, which is more what our deck is, Priest of Forgotten Gods is also something to consider, along with Gutter Bones. And then in the sideboard, we have Duresses versus Control. Scrabbling Claws is our way to deal with graveyards, kinda. We can target the cat while it's in the graveyard, or just kind of reduce the cards in their graveyard. Epic Downfall versus bigger creatures, you can exile them. Noxious Grasp 4 of, because we're going to have a hard time with Questing Beasts. Order Midnight against the more grindy matchups, just another copy to get in. Drill Bit, so I did split 3 Duress, 1 Drill Bit, just in terms of a discard package. Then First Control, this show's pretty poor here. I got 2 Ill-Gotten Inheritance. It's a way for us to pressure our opponent's life total without them having like creature removal. And then Ob Nixilis, the Hate Twisted, it's a way for us to have some extra removal, but also it's a way for us to just deal damage when an opponent draws a card. So that's pretty much it. We'll take it through a couple games. We are currently plat tier 4. I'm probably going to play, let's play some unranked first just to see how it does. And then if it's putting up results, we'll play some ranked. I may try to go for Mythic this month. It's pretty early in, and I've already gotten up to Plat 4. Really been liking the whatchamacallit deck, the 4-color Historic Dreadhorde. It's very powerful. Their video's up now on YouTube if you missed it. Historic's been fun. Obviously trying to avoid the Nexus players, but I really want Nexus to be banned in Historic. There's just so many games where it's quite difficult to actually get through. Even when you win, it doesn't feel rewarding. We go first. We have Fenlurker and a bunch of 3-drops. I think we keep this. So opponent mulligan, and we'll take a card out of their hand. Depending on what type of deck they're on, the first 3-drop we might drop is Davriel to attack their hand further. We have 2 draws to get that land. Okay, perfect. So this can be a couple decks, so we'll see what it is. If it is Flash, then we're going to go Davriel first. Okay, so they don't show much more other than the land. Okay, Teamer. This is Teamer Adventures. So I think I just want to attack their hand here. We already got 2 lands out of them. They're going to get a lot of value off this. Okay, well, they got the double Bone Crusher here. Takes out both our things. Let's see if they have a follow-up play. So I'll just go Ayara here. They cast Bone Crusher. Ooh, this turn's actually going to be solid. So we go Cat. Foulmire. Foulmire has Death Touch. And then we have the Oven as well. So we can start draining the opponent. Opponent escapes the wild. They got a couple Fae of Wishes, so they can go defensive with the Fae. They usually all have one plane-wide celebration in the sideboard. That's usually their way to gain life. They may have Pulse of Marassa. They opt to not. Just play a defensive one. So just drain him here and then pass the turn. So the nice thing is here, even if they get a sweeper of some sort, then we could still just draw a bunch of cards. I can use, okay, so they use Bone Crusher here. I'm actually going to sacrifice this so it's fizzles so they don't get to cast it. That's odd. Oh, did I have Resolve All? Oh, we would have sacked it. So they're granting twice here. They could be getting Chandra. do. And then back to nature. Or return to nature. They don't have the mana for it just yet. Okay, so we have Davriel, which is probably a decent follow-up. Let's just go Fenlurker, take a card out of their hand. Okay, so it's the Aether Gust. So we could kind of force their hand here. Okay, they go Chandra. So let's sack this, let's draw a card. Just get the double drain here. It's toughness 4 or greater. I think we just let it sweep there. They get 2 tokens with the Lovestruck Beast. So we could just go Davriel here. Get out the last card of their hand, and then they take 2 damage as well. So Chandra can then hit it down, but we're really just trying to outrace him at this point. Not bad. We got stuck on 3 lands, but was able to take him out. Budget deck wins. So this matchup is actually probably a harder one to win. Let's bring in the Ill-Gotten Inheritance. Drill Bits. Noxious Grasp gets rid of really only Lovestruck Beast. And I'm Beanstalk Giant. Actually, Epic Downfall is pretty good. It gets rid of all their threats. Coming out, Plaguecrafters seem bad. Foulmire Knight's fine. Vampire, this one's not that good in the matchup. Probably a Lazotep Reaver seems the worst out of all of them. Yeah, probably just go like that. Plaguecrafter's not very good just because they have like a lot of incidental creatures that they can just sack off. And because they're not like solely based green, like the only creatures that we care about that are green also can get hit with Epic Downfall, but it also gets Brazen Borrower. Sounds fine. The one thing we lack is like that good 1-drop. Fenlurker's a nice play on too. Get a card out of their hand. Getting rid of the Great Henge is actually very good. They usually only play one, so to get it out early. Okay, they just Beanstalk, so that's a lot of mana they're getting. This deck's very good when you can go like turn 2 Clover, turn 3 Beanstalk, and then you likely have like Brazen Bar up or something like that. They could have the bounce here. I actually don't care if they kill this Ayara. Seems like they have the stomp. Oh, just Brazen Borrow. They have to target 2. See, when you don't target 2, it actually just goes to the graveyard. I learned that the hard way. So we have an answer for the first Beanstalk. The second one, we will need something. Let's see what they get off Fae. Could just be Chandra. Spyglass. And Chandra. So they know about this one. In this game, where in the first one we are a little bit more aggressive. I think we're going to have a harder time this game. We can get the Fenlurker back next turn. Takes a card out of their hand, but probably I'll opt not to. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. So they can Chandra and Spyglass this turn. My guess is they name Oven. It's not as significant as Ayara. They name Ayara. I wonder if they think that turns off the life gain, because the only activated ability is the card draw. Which, like, Oven's so much worse, in my opinion. We can put Ayara back on top, because it kind of forces them with Chandra to play it out. Do we put Ayara on top? Because they probably play out one of these. They have a blocker. I think we put it on top. It's the best card in our deck. So here they could sweep again, but they lose Chandra. They can Beanstalk, and if they have a land, also play Fae. They're holding these Beanstalks back. Sweet. Took down one of the big decks. Alright, I'm going to do this as a quicker one, so I'll play it as a best of one as well. just to get a feel. I think I'll do a couple decks today as opposed to some longer streams. Let's play it there. I think I need to reset my internet as well. Getting a little bit of a frame rate drop. This hand is a keep. So I'm actually going to lead on Vampire. I'd rather have Cat Oven. They will not trade the edge wall. Actually quite pleased we bet Teamer Adventures. Couple variations. This could be the Knights. This could be the... yeah, this is Lucky Knights. So probably a little premature. They could still attack with Edgewall, but I trade with Edgewall if that's the case. I may Murderous Rider this Edgewalling Keeper. Let's see if they want to take the trade here. They do. So they show that they're willing. I think we just do this now. It grinds them out. Taking their card draw engine off the board is important. Because even if they like Lovestruck Beast here, it doesn't make a huge world of difference. They go Murderous Rider. So opponents reluctant to obviously kill because we just sack in a response. They're trying to get a life gain option out to stabilize. So here I'd consider trading with the Murderous Rider. Actually, probably not. We could have sacked to try to find a land. Okay, they go find. Good to know that they have the find finality there in terms of overcommitting to the board. Okay, so they have Foulmire as well. Ours looks nicer. If they attack, I block sack so they don't gain any life. Opponent realizes that. Ayara is kind of what we need to find at this point. Okay, we've got a couple Foulmires. I think we just do this. Play this out. We have a card draw engine, they have a card draw engine. Ours doesn't cost us any mana. Theirs is restricted to how many spells they can play. Very interesting. Like even here, are they playing out another Knight? They're just cycling through their deck to draw cards. Like here, making a 1/1's not unreasonable. Fenlurker's fine. Still would like Ayara. I think we just double spell this turn. I'm going to throw the Orzhov Enforcer away just to get a flyer to try to deal some damage that way. I think they flash in Paragon. Weird timing to do so. So it's kind of a stalemate, best of one. Like at this point they have 1, 2, 3 knights out. Kind of a waste. Yeah, let's just do this. I was considering the Enforcer. They've already used 2 of these, which bodes well for us. Okay, second oven accelerates things. We get 2 card draws per turn now. So we drain him for 2, get 2 card draws. They will refill their hand. The death touch is like the most relevant thing, and us being budgety and playing more death touch instead of actual removals been quite advantageous. Okay, we do need to be mindful just our life total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fine with this attack. These bounce off each other, take you out. Block here. This actually refills our hand, so it plays really well for us. We gain 2 life. We get a flyer that can start chipping in some damage as well. And we got Ayara. So I'm going to leave the cat in the graveyard because we drew Ayara, so it gets an extra trigger. So let's drop the castle in case they have any discard shenanigans. This drains them 2. This drains them 2 more. And then we just poke him in the air for 1. Opponent's attack that turn was unnecessarily aggressive. Like, they would win just through grinding through Swordmasters, and they need a critical mass to pull that off. Because now I'm draining for 4 each turn, gaining 4, losing 2. So netting 2, draining 4, drawing 2 cards. Okay, so we're going to do this. Drawing another one's great there. So I really don't care if they drop Murderous Rider. And we get that extra drain, because we could have sacked it and it fizzles the spell. They've used most of their black mana this turn already. We got another Ayara. We also have Foulmire Knight, or Order of Midnight, that can get it back. Okay, so here, block like this. Fenlurker can die. And I actually don't care if they draw cards. Yeah, they're pretty much dead. They can't attack in because if stuff dies, then they take damage. So we get them that way. So it kind of works out both ways for us. Alright, we won all 3 of our games, match a best of 3 and the best of 1. Gonna wrap this one up, do a quick one here, come back with some more content. Appreciate those stopping in, and if you're catching this on YouTube, thanks for dropping by. If you aren't following on Twitch or subbed on YouTube, please consider so. Both are free and easy ways to help support the channel. If not, catch you next time, and then do let me know if there's any Theros deck techs that you'd like to see. Thanks for watching, have a great one.